next thing I want to talk about, guys, is the delegation process. I basically narrow it down to 3 Ds. I'm going to share with you guys right now. The 3 Ds are document, demonstrate, and duplicate. And I'll explain. Any task that you want to delegate, the first step you need to do is document that process. If it's a digital task like uploading a listing to your market, you need to, the first software I'll share with you guys is called Loom, LOOM.com. It's probably like 20, 30, 40 bucks a month. Not sure which package, depending on the package. It lets you share your screen and records yourself in a small little bubble, and it records your voice and the screen's audio as well. The first part of delegating any digital task, writing a contract, submitting an offer, sending an email, uploading a listing, creating an addendum, is just documenting the process. First one is document. The second one goes hand in hand, but if it's not an over like the internet thing, it's a demonstrate thing. If you want to create a showing agent and somebody that consistently can do showings for you, or open houses, or put in the lockbox, or pick up a check, or go to a closing on your behalf, you need to demonstrate this process. You can't just say, hey, Pepito, yo, look, we're going to show this house. You're going to walk in, you're going to open the door, you're going to do this, and you're going to, no. You need to bring them through a formal, and this is where leadership comes in. You need to make it feel real and important. Okay, you need to lead this person by example and demonstrate what your expectation is. Okay, one of the things that I will say, guys, that has helped me grow as a business owner is a fast feedback loop. Like answering questions, asking questions quickly, and asking and giving feedback as soon as I possibly can. Not letting time pass. Okay, so if it's online, document, I would recommend using Loom. If it's in person, demonstrate. Okay, document, demonstrate. The third part is have them duplicate it. They do the activity in front of you and you walk them through the entire process. Document, demonstrate, duplicate. It's a very simple formula to follow. But for example, some of you guys that post content, some of you guys that do your own contracts, or you write up addendums, you input listings, it's going to take time to build out what we call SOPs, standard rating operating procedures, like a process and a checklist for a certain activity. So before things get better, I want to say this, before things get better, they're going to get a little worse. Before you buy back time, you're going to give up time to create the processes, to create the systems. But once it's created, it's created. Okay. Second part of this is talent. Okay. Every person learns differently. Every person learns a little bit quicker, a little bit slower. There's different timelines. So in the beginning, I was very quick to hire people and very slow to fire them. I gave people too many opportunities. I would say be quick to hire, but be even faster to fire. Like the first time someone does some shit that you don't like and you address it, that's why I said fast feedback loop. If they do it again, they're gone. It depends what kind of standard you want to hold for your business, but I've had to go through a lot of people in my life, and I'm a very nice, easygoing guy. I've had to become not a dick, but excuse the language, but I've had to become very firm in my life, because if not, people are going to step all over you. The second that they start getting comfortable and they feel like the standards becoming a little bit smaller, they're going to start taking advantage, guys. You can't expect, I will say that you can't expect people to care about your business the way that you care about your business. You cannot expect that. That's a false reality that we live in. So I would say be quick. You can't take too much time to hire people. Be effective in your hiring process. Understand what activity you're hiring for and what kind of talent matches that activity, right? If you're looking for somebody to take over your coordinating, your transaction, coordinating your addendums, a data entry, CRM organization, you're looking for a different type of personality versus if you were looking for a showing assistant, someone that's going to be out there talking to people, showing people homes, having conversations, doing open houses. That talent pool is different. If you're looking for a showing assistant, you're looking for a player, someone that can talk, communicate, sales, quick, charisma, right? If you're looking for someone that's behind the computer, nothing wrong with that. You're looking for more of an analytical, organized person, someone that's good with keeping things organized. They have a background of maybe Excel, CRMs, Analytical personality, guys. So it's very important to like, okay, this is the task that I want to outsource. This is the talent that I need. This is my plan to hire. And again, you gotta, it sucks, guys, because once you start providing income for other people and you start to get to know them and you build a friendship and like they do something wrong and you know that the money you're giving them is feeding their family, it's a very tough decision. But you need to remember that the money that you're leaving out is the money that your family is missing out on as well. So it becomes tough. But I would say hire fast, fire faster. Trial and error, guys. Giselle?
So not to go backwards with what you're explaining, but okay, so I get document, I get demonstrate. I don't exactly get duplicate.
For sure. I'll clarify. So the duplicate part is where they demonstrate it to you.
Ah, got it.
Right? So like let's say you're training a showing assistant and you document the process on a checklist of what is expected at a showing. You get there 15 minutes earlier. You make sure all the lights are on. You make sure you have an MLS document with all the details, yada, yada, yada. That is your documentation. That is your checklist. Your demonstration is the physical part of the showing. Hey, so the first thing we do, John, is we greet the customer at the front door. Then we show them the living room, then the rooms, then the bathrooms, and the backyard. That is your standard operating procedure in person. That is your demonstration. The last thing we want to do is have them do it in front of us. Hey, John, I'm the customer. Show me the house.
Okay.
And that goes for every activity. Does everybody understand that part?
How do you feel about recording that whole process? So kind of doing like a with someone else, like with a friend or whatever. But you do it one time, you do like a mock demonstration, and then you kind of give it, you know, do you?
Sure. For sure. I think it's more effective when you're talking about a little bit of a higher level, because there's rankings, right? Like writing up a contract and getting it sent out is here. Showing a house is here. I would, if you can, invest the time in person. But like, for example, let's say V wanted to hire somebody else out in North Carolina. I'm sure she'd have to figure out a way to get a video done and have that trained out, right? She can't be there in person, or maybe it might be worth her time to fly out there and do it. It depends on the level of the activity. But when it's in person, you might want to be there physically to do it. Make sense? Anybody else have any questions so far, guys? We got like 30 of you guys with the cameras off. I love it. I'm gonna make like I did this like, I don't know, like 4 months ago. I made like a hard, you got to turn your camera on rule. Maybe I should bring it back. All right, where were we? Where was I? Remind me. Before we went back to the document, demonstrate, duplicate. Does anybody remember? I totally forgot.
I forgot to.
It'll come back in a second. Thank God, like this what just happened to me, like I completely had a brain fart, never happened on stage. Because I would melt. I'd be like, oh, guys, I forgot what I talked about. What was I talking about? Okay, oh, we were talking about talent. So it's very important to understand what kind of talent fits what kind of role. And guys, at the end of the day, like being a business owner is different than being a realtor. That's why I've kind of tried to give you guys the expectation. I'm not here to train you to be a realtor. Being a realtor, you're just a do-it-all, do-it-yourself, DIYer. Being a delegator, you become a business owner. You become the operator of your business. And there's tough decisions that are involved. Your relationship with those tough decisions and your timeline with them is going to dictate your success. Because I've had to make some, and I'm sure V can attest, I'm sure Kaysen, he delegates, I'm sure Matthew delegates, and I'm sure some of you guys here delegate as well, and you've had to maybe let go of some people. And it's a tough conversation. I'm getting to the point where I'm training one of my guys to like be that guy, like the guy that fires people. Cause like I hate doing it. I hate doing it, but I've gotten good at it. I told you guys yesterday that we audited all of January. I have like 8 people that are in my operation right now. I moved 7 of them to different roles in a matter of 2 hours. Those were all tough conversations, but that skill is called leadership. Being able to say, hey, this is changing, but this is why, and this is what's going to come out of it. Selling them the vision. You can't just be like, yo, like, here's the loom. Here's what you're going to do. Just get it done. No, here's what we're doing. Here's why it's important. And here's what happens if we do it correctly. And if we do that over a long period of time, consistently enough, here's where you could be, right? If you start here as a transaction coordinator for me, and we just started building this business and we go from 200 to 400 to 800, Eventually you can just be my right-hand guy, COO. Bro, my COO started as a sales rep, just helping me out with like basically doing assistant stuff. Now he's a COO of my company. But I always told him that vision from day one. So he bought in and he put in more effort as if it was his own company. So you guys have to have the vision very clear to be able to get these people to give you their output. Okay. I will say something that has to do with talent. I can connect you guys with a few different companies that do this. There's certain activities that I would say a VA fits, like certain paperwork activities, data entry, and Colombia and Venezuela have great options, and it's much more affordable. But ideally, I think having an in-house transaction coordinator / personal assistant would be the best case. But depending on how good you are at documenting your process and creating SOPs and checklists, you can get really, really talented people to work for you at a much lower rate in those countries. And if you guys ever need that connection, I can gladly make it with you guys as well. Because I do have several roles in my business that are outsourced to over there. Any questions so far, guys? We're almost done here. The last thing I want to mention, actually, the second to last thing I want to mention, the main softwares that I use to delegate, ChatGPT to create SOPs, templates, checklists. It's not hard anymore, guys. I'm the worst person when it comes to organizing. You spit out your idea, you tell it how it wants to be, it'll organize it for you. Let's say you wanted to create an email template or a seller template or something, some cool documents for your sellers. Give ChatGPT the idea, have it organize it for you, and then have somebody else finalize it for you. This is what I mean by delegation. Let's say I want to create a for sale by owner backup plan. I give ChatGPT the idea, detailed idea. I have it organize it, and then I hire somebody on Fiverr to finalize it. Visuals, everything. The template, the organization, the visuals, the colors, whatever that asset is going to look like, I'm going to create the idea, I'm going to organize the idea, and I'm going to have somebody else finalize the idea. Versus imagine you there trying to like create a for sale by owner backup plan, writing it out, like putting the colors, like I used to do that shit on Canva when I first started, and I was like, this is wasting my time. So Loom for documentation, ChatGPT for creation, organization, anything like that. And then you're going to have short-term tasks and long-term tasks. You need some sort of a CRM to keep track of these things and the progress and the feedback and the follow-up, either Trello or Monday. Trello or Monday, I'm going to put all these. By the way, another one that we use is Fathom. All you guys should have a Fathom on this call. A Fathom is an AI note taker that basically summarizes the entire call in extreme detail. And if you guys can't be on a Monday call, your Fathom is going to give you those notes back automatically. Use AI. It's not that complicated. ChatGPT, Loom, Trello, Monday, and Fathom. Like if you guys would have had a Fathom on here, I wouldn't have to write this down for you. I wouldn't have to put Trello, Monday. Fathom would have it for you. Whenever you have a Zoom meeting with a seller or a buyer or your team, put it on Fathom. That's how I review my guys' calls, because everything's documented on Fathom. So I have the entire, like in 5 minutes, I can it's an hour and 15-minute call. In 5 minutes, I have an idea of what happened on the entire call, and we can go to the points of that call that are the most important. So same thing that's why I say follow-up boss is important. Follow-up boss records your calls and an AI transcribes it to help you find out what the most important points of that call were. These are all important parts of delegation. And then I guess last thing I'll cover before we get into just open Q&A. We're doing all of this, guys, to be able to condense the timeline in which we want to get to our goals and to give ourselves the ability to focus on what we are best at, which is selling. That's all you need to get good at: sales and leadership. Everything else can be outsourced and delegated. Why would you want to get good at something else when you can just be good at one thing? Sales is what's going to get every single business off the ground, making your first multiple six figures. I will say, once you want to tread into the 7-figure range, you need to understand or have someone, preferably have someone that understands marketing. I never understood this concept until now. I was like, yo, sales is important. Marketing is more important. But right now, all we're worried about is sales. right? Because if you can market and it goes in that order, sales and then marketing. Guess what? If you can market and you can bring in leads, but you don't know how to sell, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Sales, once you learn sales, you ideally partner up with somebody that is a master at marketing or can dedicate all their time into that, and they can grow your lead flow. That's why I when I try to talk to you guys, I'm like, look, cold calling is a vehicle that is temporary. Cold calling is going to build up your communication skills, your communication skills, your sales skills. Eventually, you're going to have enough money and time to market to be able to consistently bring in inbound leads in whatever business you're running, and then you can have a sales process for that. It's not always going to be cold outbound. But doing cold outbound first builds the resistance, the skill sets, and the mindset that you need to be able to replicate that through other people that are going to go under you eventually and create a process around it. So understand that these are the most valuable skills, guys: leadership, sales, marketing, and building systems. Sales, leadership, marketing, building systems. These are the most important skills and all we should be focused on. I don't care about digital design. I don't care about organization, data entry. I'm horrible at that shit. All of it. You don't need to be good at it. You find a way to make money in sales and you pay somebody else to be really good at it.